You're listening to KORC News, Music, and Civics. Thanks for joining us today. This is Dan Crall, and I am on site at the Southtown Block 15 location.
3415 Southwest Deschutes Street.
And it's right by the wetland and the Oceanic Observatory, as well as Willamette Greystone. And we are joined today by Holly from Block 15. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty well. And we are also joined by the head brewer, Garrison. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Well, we are here amidst a number of bourbon barrels in a side room just away from the main brewing space. With February on the horizon, it seems you all have some special Bourbon Month happenings.
Every February we celebrate kind of our darkest, bleakest month of the year with Bourbon Month, where we bring in world-class bourbons and also make several bourbon barrel-aged beers. One of those is a wild beer that's called Creek, that's fermented in used Super Nebula barrels. And the other two are Super Nebula and Super Nebula as a variant every year. And this year we have a really different variant for Super Nebula that is called Super Nebula Valhalla. So it's a Nordic stout. It's going to have cardamom and star anise, white pepper, and juniper berries. So it's a very different flavor profile than anything that we've made in the past, but I'm really excited about it, and I hope everybody comes and tries it.
And I understand it has an Icelandic influence, this particular brew.
Yeah, so this is what's called a Nordic stout. That's a pretty loose definition. There isn't like laws about what can be a Nordic stout, but what you're really going for are big aromatics and lots of spice and generally things that we don't see in just everyday imperial stouts. Like that star anise is going to give it just a depth of complexity that is going to be uncommon for beers that you might have tried in the past.
Tell us about some of the other brews happening throughout February.
Releasing Creek, which is the spontaneous tart cherry beer in bourbon barrels, and then Super Nebula and Super Nebula Valhalla.
And I would imagine that the length of time that they spend fermenting in a bourbon barrel would affect their taste.
Absolutely. Super Nebula and Super Nebula Valhalla both get 1 year in barrels, and Creek gets, we call it 2 winters. So it's about a year and a half because the cherries are picked in the summer, and then the beer is harvested, a full year and a half later in the winter when we blend for Bourbon Month in February. So,
does that extra length of time add an alcohol volume?
Not really, no. Spending that much time in the barrel does bring some more alcohol out of the beer, but as far as an extra 6 months, no, it wouldn't add any more. The other thing is that Creek is in second run barrels, so when we get a barrel from a distiller, we use it first for these big stouts, and then once they've been emptied, we use it for Creek. So the whiskey basically has mostly been used, and we're getting other stout character for Creek. I do have some other really cool beers that we are going to be releasing in February. So we have Zero Lux, which is an IPA that we make with Erebus hops that are named after the Greek god. Holly, is it the Greek god of darkness?
It's something like that.
It's like the absence of light.
Really dark.
Yeah.
To reflect the dark season that we have for the next few months. Although, having passed the winter solstice, we are seeing the days get a little bit longer.
Okay, so another one that I'm always excited about is Punch Out and Prost. So Punch Out and Prost is a Dortmunder export that is my dad's favorite beer. And then Love Potion number 9, which is a great raspberry kind of dessert stout.
Valentine's beer.
It's a really awesome Valentine's beer.
It's coming out.
We have arrived in the production room. What goes on in here?
So this is our production brewery's expansion building where we do almost all of our packaging. We do canning, bottling, kegging over here, and have our warehouses over here. You can hear Miles in the background warehousing and moving pallets around, and it's a really active place. It's definitely a PPE zone, we would call it, somewhere that you want to have protective gear on, steel-toed shoes, and safety glasses for sure. Behind Holly here, we have a lot of our Bourbon Month release bottles.
Nice. About how many bottles are in front of us, would you say?
Hundreds and hundreds.
I think it's hundreds of cases.
It's 1 pint, 0.9 ounces.
There you go.
It's very specific.
Almost exactly a pint.
These beers get released on draft on January 30th, and then bottles go on sale the day after, January 31st. So, little collector's item there for everyone. We do a little release party. We do sell some of these bottles to some of our partners around town and in Oregon, but they're very limited, so you should check first before you go looking for them.
Tell me about the logos that people might see that they would recognize. Like, does the Valhalla label have a distinct look to it?
So, Super Nebula has a really distinct look that is a bourbon barrel being kind of shot through space like it's a comet or an asteroid, but the Valhalla label has a really cool addition to that where kind of a personification of the north wind is blowing the barrel, so it looks more like it's being pushed in the wind than really like a comet like the rest of them have been. I think it's a nice touch. And then it has iconography of all of the ingredients, those special ingredients that we talked about. Cardamom and star anise, white pepper, and juniper berries.
How long have you been brewing?
Been brewing for 12 years, and I think I've worked here at Block 15 for 13 or 14 years. I started in the dish pit and moved into the kitchen and then into the brewery from there. I was going to school for fermentation science at the time, and a spot opened up and I got lucky.
We are here at the Block 15 production room where they're storing some of their upcoming product. And there's also some vats and other warehouse material in here. What other special things are coming up throughout the month of February?
We're doing special food at each of our locations that is meant to pair well with these Super Nebula beers. Because it's a big beer, we usually have things that are... I'm thinking cheese in my head. You either go contrast or complement. It either cuts through the big boldness of the beer or it complements it. So we do have a little bit of both.
So does that usually switch back and forth then between like sweet and savory?
It does, yes. Our executive chef, Sarah, is the one who crafts all of our food specials, and she is a mastermind.
And Block 15 has 2 locations in town. You also own Caves, the restaurant that is next door to the downtown location. Tell us about that restaurant.
Caves is a Northwest European-inspired restaurant. We consider it our sister restaurant, and it's been around since, it's over 10 years old, but it took a little break during COVID and got a remodel and has been reborn as the Caves that you see today.
I remember back in the day, Nick had taken a trip to Belgium and really had it in for the Belgian recipes he had encountered.
Absolutely. You can see that through every menu offering. We also have a lot of Belgian-style beers that people can order that are aged in our cellar or some newer varieties. It's a really cool spot to try a lot of different kinds of European-inspired things.
And a full disclosure, Block 15 is one of KORC's business underwriters. As the station benefits from having financial support from business, I did want to give that disclosure, even as we are here learning about their interesting brew, several interesting brews coming up throughout the month of February for Bourbon Month.
Around the time that I started in the brewery, we found that there was enough of a market for these kind of beers that we could hire a wild and barrel aged, like, actual program manager, and I was lucky enough to fill that role. So these were all beers that I worked on as we transitioned into filling this space. But yeah, Super Nebula is one that we've had on for a really long time. I can't tell you exactly how many vintages of it we've made, but Imagine and Figgy Pudding are both beers that we've made almost since the beginning, and Super Nebula is right up there too.
Tell me about Figgy Pudding.
Figgy Pudding is one of our late fall releases. So that's a English strong that we age in brandy barrels, and after it gets blended out, we add certain spices that are kind of reminiscent of pumpkin spice. So all like great holiday spices that just really make it something great to drink during Thanksgiving and Christmas time. The way that Super Nebula really works is that we blend all of the barrels that taste delicious this year into a tank, and then we add chocolate to it. And it's not just chocolate, it's really, really special chocolate that is not only fair trade, but it's wild harvest. So a lot of work went into sourcing those specific beans. We use them every year. The thing that makes Wild Harvest, two things that make Wild Harvest beans really special are that the indigenous folks who live in the area that they are harvested can work for themselves instead of working for a plantation, which means that they can harvest and sell at market price. So they're getting a fair price for their work. And if they don't like the price, they don't have to sell. The other thing that's really special about them is that it doesn't use plantation space. The cocoa pods come straight out of kind of the jungle, and those plantations are really destructive and rip out a lot of rainforests. So for us to be able to pay significantly more but support really, really ethical farming practices is worth it for us. So Super Nebula gets blended. We add these cocoa nibs. Everybody gets chocolate. And then a certain amount of that gets split off. And then we made that into Super Nebula Valhalla, which got white pepper and cardamom and star anise and juniper berries. I didn't have to be as careful with the juniper as I had to be with the anise.
I mean, does it add kind of a pine sap flavor?
Yeah, but that's not really something that is offensive in a lot of beer.
Yeah, I think in beer it actually it can work.
Yeah, the anise, the black licorice flavor, you have to be really careful with, and we had to run a lot of bench trials to make sure that it was under control. But
it does sound like a lot of these beers may be an acquired taste, but still a unique product that if listeners wanted to find out more about the brewing process or see this list of beers, do you have information online?
You know what? You can always reach out to me. My name is Garrison, and you can reach out to Garrison at block15.com, and I'd love to talk with you if you have questions about brewing or beer or Bourbon Month or any of the above.
We are here at Block 15, and we are also joined by Holly of Block 15, who does marketing and some other stuff for them. Do you have anything else you'd like to share about what's coming up in February at either the Southtown location or downtown?
Just like every Bourbon Month, we're excited to host dinners. We also have a guided pairing event out here at Southtown where we walk people through the brewery for tours with little food pairings with each of these new releases. So our guided pairing event that's out in Southtown is on January 31st from 11:30 to 1:30. And we sell tickets for half-hour time slots for people to walk through and have a guided tour of our space where they try each of the new releases paired with food that is expertly selected by our executive chef, Sarah.
How much are tickets?
They are $15, and that covers beer, food, the tour experience, and you can hang out as long as you want in the restaurant after you're done.
Where can people find those tickets?
The tickets will be online through our website.
If you're interested in the brewing process or these beers at all, I think that it's a great value. You get to try this really incredible food that has been very masterfully paired, and also myself and all of our brewery management are at these stations, so you get to have one-on-one FaceTime with us, ask any questions that you would ever have, and I think it's fun for me, so I would hope that it would be fun for everybody else too.
And if there's anything I've learned about going to microbreweries throughout Oregon, usually the brewmaster and assistants are willing to nerd out on the brewing process.
Absolutely. That's what we look forward to. That's our favorite part.
We have another event that we're hosting at the Downtown Pub on February 11th. We're having Four Spirits Distillery come down and showcase what they make, so you can come taste their wares. We're also hosting a charity event for them that day, which goes to the Four Spirits Foundation. A portion of sales from the day go to their organization. So if you come eat at Block 15 that day, you're just automatically included in that donation. You don't have to mention it at all. It's part of some of the things we do throughout the year. February 11th, and they'll be tasting from 6 to 8 p.m. downtown. We are always so happy to welcome people into our space to tell them about what we do. So if you're curious about how we make things, that's a great opportunity.
It's been nice checking out the brewery and the production space. Thanks for tuning in to KORC News, Music, and Civics. My name is Dan Crall. Hope you can stay with us throughout the remainder of the program. Heard Sundays from noon until 2, repeated Mondays 5 to 6 p.m. We also archive the news at our website, korcfm.com.